That was a long drive getting where we came from.
Yes, an incredibly long drive.
Why is it zoomed in?
I have no
You
idea.
have failed me for the last time.
I've failed you for many times, and I will continue to fail.
Oh, such a long drive.
Such a magnificent journey.
Yes. The house is right there.
Yeah, like there. I can literally get out of the car and touch it.
So, I was very kindly sent a link to an advance copy of Dark Dungeons based on the Jack Chick tract, and I did request a copy I could rip and use to make a Nanaview, but they wouldn't let me, which is fair enough. So I will buy my own copy later on and do that. But right now, all you're getting is a Backseat critique, and this film's fucking brilliant.
Yes, it is.
It's fucking amazing. Okay, if you don't know, it is based on the Jack Chick tract, the famous one, Dark Dungeons, which is about the evils and the terror of RPGing.
Which I only know through parody.
And it's an obviously expanded adaptation, fairly accurate.
Around 45 minutes long, I think. We don't have an official time.
Yeah, roughly 45-50 minutes. It's not a full-length feature film or anything. But, you know, the actual thing is like 30-odd pages, and like several pages of that is like writing all about how Jesus can save your soul. So, you know, they had to expand things, and I'm fine with that.
And that was some of the finest RPGing I have ever seen.
Damn fucking right. And we squeed when we noticed that the evil satanic overlord people who were controlling everything like puppet masters, it was
the cast of gamers.
Yeah. Well, more accurately, cast of gamers 2.
Yes.
They're all there in hoods, just being like, "We love the satanic RPG."
If we can convert just a few more people to our satanic ways, our goal will be met.
Yes, the dark one will rise. So this is in our headcanon. This is a sequel to Gamers. This is Gamers 4.
There was Gamers reference in it as well. It was like, "You must be unto like night unto day, like unto light as the shadow." The shadow.
The shadow?
The shadow.
It was wonderful. And I should have recognized it was them, because Zombie Orpheus, I'm fairly sure, is one of the companies that works with the Dead Gentleman. But I'm not 100% sure.
I didn't recognize them until about their third appearance.
And I was like, I already spotted them. There's the bard.
I was kind of thinking, is that the tall skinny guy kind of looks like the angry card gamer at Gamers 3. And holy shit, it is!
It was wonderful. Okay, for those who don't know, basically it's these two girls go to university and they're, you know, Christian and all that, and they get embroiled in the horrors of RPG.
RPG.
This is the most metal RPG ever.
And whenever one of them gets to 8th level, she's granted actual magical satanic powers.
That is directly word for word taken from the book, the comic.
I know, but this is for people who don't know.
I know. Some of the ridiculous stuff in this is being added as for humorous value. That wasn't.
And then they try to use this to raise Cthulhu and the dark forces.
Yeah, that wasn't in the original. In the original one, it was basically, she goes, they get powers, you know, one of her friend's character dies, her friend commits suicide, then she finds Jesus. That's it.
Oh, Jesus was under the bed all along.
Oh, no! So this one, they've made it into a bigger thing, you know, for the expansion and things like that. I want to see these guys adapt more Jack Chick tracts.
I want to see these guys make more shit. That was fantastic.
I love it. It was an image in the trailer, and it's in this as well. I love the dice rolling in the blood. It was in their pre-credit sequence, and it says, that's just wonderful. That is Jack Chick's insanity in one shot. Dice and blood.
Oh, it was so tongue-in-cheek about things. Like, the people who made it clearly know how RPGs work, but it was like, oh, who are those guys? Oh, they're the RPGs. They're the coolest guys on campus. We've tried to get them kicked out for their evil ways, but they're too damn popular.
They got slow walking to the camera, you know, people in black leather, and everyone looking like a supermodel, being like, Juju, because they're fucking RPG bitches. Ironically, when I was at university, I had heard stories that the head of the university students' union had tried to get the Myth Society, which was the RPG and anime club. They had tried to get them kicked off, but because the second biggest thing in the university club was the Christian Union, and they were quite evangelical. And but unfortunately for them, and their head was like the head of the Students' Union, so he had clout. Unfortunately for them, the biggest single club in the university was the Myth Society, which is what I was in. Although I only rarely RPG'd and I never watched anime, I was like a non-fee paying member for like literally years, just hanging out. But
well, it's kind of like the society that I've just left behind. The university, which shall go unnamed for reasons, and our gaming group is the biggest society within that university, and they keep throwing up wall blocks for us. I don't know the reasoning, but one of the bigger things that our society does is board games and RPGs. And we're just shat on. We're shat on.
It's
funny
baffling.
It's funny how, that's gaming, that's non-essential and demonic, but it's also the biggest society we have that is the only self-funding society.
Yeah, the real world issues that people have with RPGs is just baffling. If it's in America, in like, the Bible Belt or whatever, the sort of stuff that Spoonie had to deal with growing up, where they actually literally thought it was satanic, okay, they think it's literally satanic, they're stupid. But in this one, it's like, they just don't like you because you're less sexy than the football club?
They don't like us because this university offers 7 different courses on how to make video games, but why would anybody want to play them?
People are motherfucking crazy.
We had lecturers recommending people come to our club to learn how games should be made. It's like, you're doing a video game course, do you play games? Well, not really. Go to this club, it's on every week, just hang out and play some games. It'll educate you. But back to the movie.
Yeah, that's fucking brilliant, dude. It's just amazing.
They had other stuff, like the RPG night. It was a huge party with a couple hundred people at it.
Yeah, they were like raving and everything, and then suddenly it's like, now it's time for the main event.
It was like, woo! The RPG! And everybody's like, RPG!
They got like torchlight and everything, and then suddenly it's like, fucking RPG! And then these two girls they play for the first time ever. They're just handed characters, and they're like, I gotta kill the guy. I killed him. And then everyone's like, it's the best RPG I've ever seen!
Character names were fucking funny, by the way. Blackleaf and Elfstar. Grow up.
That's directly from the book.
I know, that's directly from the book. I've seen those in parties before. But I hate to say this, I've never seen a gaming society where it's just 80 people standing around watching a game.
I'm cheering and drinking.
And saying, that is the best RPGing! Seriously, that must be a direct quote.
I'm probably playing games for like 3 days at a time.
What time is it? It's 8.
That's not too bad.
AM.
Oh.
On Tuesday.
Oh! But, okay, there's a point in this where we had to pause it and double take each other because partway through...
The girl who's got magic powers is failing history class, but she mind bends her history teacher into making her pass. She's talking, listen to the dialogue. I used my power, by the way, my first spell.
How did you use it on?
I used a mind control spell on my history teacher. He gave me an A+ on my history test, and I just wrote about the Maven of the Eventide.
And we're just like, what the fuck? Unless there's another Maven of the Eventide.
I haven't heard of one.
Someone wrote a thesis on Elisa.
And got an A+.
Yeah, because of mind control, thanks to Satan. So, I'm pretty sure that this will make her really happy now that she's just given birth to the Antichrist. I mean, okay, theoretically it could be someone else. Maybe there's another Maven of the Eventide. But the makers of the guys who make this, they are familiar.
Know.
They are familiar with the Reviewverse because.
For God's sake, she got an early copy.
Yes, I did, and
we're real critics.
I was in contact with Mr. Rails before it was finished, things like that. And I know for a fact they talked to Spoonie at one point about a cameo. Spoonie didn't cameo, and apparently there's some controversy about why that didn't happen. I have no idea, and I think I know what character he would have played, but, so they know the Reviewverse, so they know the Reviewverse. I can't think of another Maven of the Eventide. I'm thinking it's Elisa, which is wonderful.
That is brilliant. The fact that you can just put throwaway references in. Oh.
I'm jealous I didn't get a reference.
No, dear.
I'm very jealous.
But then you weren't in any of the anniversary specials either.
I was in 2 of them. I was technically in Too Flea and the Uncanny Valley. I was technically in Nerd Quest as well. Technically.
I was technically in Nerd Quest.
No, you weren't. You were like behind the camera.
I was doing camera work.
So some of the air that you had breathed out was in Nerd Quest.
I should have got a mention in the credits.
I sent a message to Mike J, possibly too late, to say that some camera work by Robin the Minion, but you didn't turn up. So
Hey, Mike J, if you're watching this, I really love your stuff. Keep doing infomercialism because it's fucking brilliant.
Oh, Lisa got mentioned. That's so good.
Oh, it was just... And then the preacher guy at the end, burn your satanic pendants, and your costumes, and your dice, and your books by C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, the mass burning of stuff as though it's a good thing it's like the 3rd most common crazy event that happens in Jack Chick tracts. After Jesus being giant with no face, yelling at someone, and someone being an idiot.
Whenever the girl finds Jesus, the gamer cast appear around her head, and they're like, "No, be magical, don't kill Elfstar." And she's
You're
like,
stay satanic.
she's like, "No, I want Jesus now." And then they're like, "No," and their digital meter of occult level falls, and their dark tower in hell gets hit by lightning.
It's done so seriously, which is wonderful. It's like an airplane adaptation of Jack Trick, which is perfect.
It's so good.
You don't need to make fun of Jack Trick. They add some extra jokes, but it's not. You don't need to. It's ridiculous by itself.
The jokes that they added in were not obtrusive at all. If you're coming at this and you don't know anything about the reverse, you've never seen gamers movies, or you've never played an RPG, you could completely almost convince yourself it's a serious film.
Or it thinks it's a serious film.
Apart from the lesbian overtones.
Which I don't recall being in the comic.
I think they
but it makes sense, though.
If we weren't here at this party, we would just be sitting alone in our dorm room tonight, all night together. And that would be so much less fun. We couldn't do anything entertaining there. Whoever would I want to spend my next few years of my life with than my best childhood girlfriend?
You know, this is actually not the first film adapted by of Jack Chick stuff. Done by people who are not, shall we say, supporters of Jack Chick's work in the traditional way. The other one was called Hot Chicks, which I haven't got a copy on DVD, and I really want it. They got a bunch of adaptations of a bunch of his shorts. Each one's about 10 minutes long, and they're all done in different art styles. And they're really accurate. They're like completely word for word adapted. And they're brilliant. And but this slightly looser, expanded one is good as well, and I would like to see them do more.
The Suicide Note was good.
Oh yeah, it's like printed out, blown up version of the original one from the comic.
It's my fault that the Black Leaf is dead.
I don't want to be alone. She hangs her...
I have had characters die in game. It's a bummer. But fuck me, don't kill yourself.
It's wonderful. It's like the understanding of RPGs as depicted in the film. It rivals that of Mazes and Monsters. Because it's just like, oh, your character's dead. I've decided something happened. No roll. No being, having health knocked off. No going down to 0 for a certain amount of time before you officially die. No possibly take you to get resurrected. No, you're dead.
It actually happened to me in a game once. I had a 3rd level bard who had managed to be really cool and like survive everything and had almost diplomancer levels at this point because I kept getting natural 20s on like intimidate and bluff rolls. So I was just like, we'd come across a party, I'd be like, I have like +3 to bluff. Is there any chance I could just roll here and see if I can tell them that I'm a big scary monster and that they want to retreat? Well, you could try it. Natural 20. For fuck's sake. But the DM eventually got very annoyed with me because he was trying to run a very combat-heavy campaign. And at 3rd level, he was like, okay, so who's going to go first? And it was like, the bard. And I was like, fine. Went into the cave and he's like, the ceiling collapses and you instantly die. I was like, can I reroll? No. You're dead. Leave. Another one of my bards got down to -1 HP. I can't remember the system, but it allowed me to stay alive down to -10. But I was incapacitated as long as I was at -1. So the healer put me in his backpack because I was a gnome and he was a dwarf, so he didn't have an over-encumbrance, and carried me around his backpack, healed me up till I was barely alive, took me out of his backpack, saw a kobold hole, and threw a gnome down it.
May all your rolls be natural.
May all your rolls be natural.
It is time for you to go to the next level. L-A-R-P.
What is that? Live action
Role play.
You are the character.
If you break character, you will be cast out forever.
And not welcome in any of my circles.
You will lose the power.
And they have one of the guys who's a gamer come out, like during the LARP section. I was like, there are two splits. We should split up. You're fighting a zombie, but you encounter door crashes when guy comes out with like a war axe and starts kicking the shit out of her. It's like, no, it's not how LARPing works.
If it was, you'd totally be doing it more often.
Oh, I really want to like try to support that full body contact LARP thing that I talked to you about earlier. A friend of mine who I used to do martial arts with and is also a big gamer is looking to build a LARP system for only martial artists that's just full body contact reenactment thing.
I'm wondering how big of a thing you're going to get who are in the middle of the Venn diagram between people who want to do that and people who can do that physically, and ones who are close by enough to do that. I don't think there'll be many in that trio.
I know though at least 5 people who would be interested and capable and local. So a 5-person LARP group won't last very long, but you know, especially if we're playing with a completely virgin system.
Someone needs to invent a LARPing or role-playing system for internet reviewing. As in, you role-play creating an internet review show and see if you do any well or not.
Oh, you roll Linkara, you can live off it.
Yeah!
Sorry, Linkara.
This is really good.
Yeah, this movie was brilliant.
The reason we're not saying very much because it's only 45 minutes long.
It's only 45 minutes long, and I really haven't... I think this is the first time I didn't pick up anything that I want to fault. Like, everything they got wrong about role-playing was done intentionally, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Then that was just... It's so brilliant to do that.
A++. 10 out of 10.
Go and see it if it's ever available, or probably not a cinema release, but...
Yeah, it'll be available probably on Zombie Orpheus, their website.
Seriously, grab it. I really enjoyed it.
I'm going to buy a copy. Even though I have access to the secret screener one with the password, but I'm going to buy my own copy.
I probably will as well. Anybody who's seen the Gamers movies and liked them, you will like this.
Mm-hmm. Gamers 4.
Gamers 4. Where the company just becomes satanic people.
We're totally evil behind the scenes.
This is great. They just have this thing where they're talking to the head of the group, like the evil overlords down in their castle on a precipice with a red background. I don't even know what the fuck's going on there. But they're like talking to the blue headset. We must have a sacrifice for the Dark One to fully arise. She's like, I can take care of that. And then she's standing there looking at this fucking engraved dagger. And he's like, no, the sacrifice must take her own life. She's like, great, now I gotta drive somebody to suicide. Easily done.
It's just really good. There's a trailer online. I think like the first 10 minutes or something was put online as well, maybe. Or just wait till it comes out. Really fucking good.
Yeah. I think we can pretty much wrap it up there.
Yeah, support films that name drop Elisa.
Support indie films that are good, because that's the only way that we're going to keep getting indie films that are good.